What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Layers of Pain podcast. This has been way overdue. I'm so excited to do this podcast for the next few weeks to give you an insight about the book Layers of Pain. It'll be released July of this year, everybody. I do not own the copyrights to this music, everybody. Come vibe with me. All right, everybody. So let's get started with it. Layers of Pain, Healing Beyond the Hurt. It's an inspiring and transforming podcast designed to help listeners navigate life's deep wounds while discovering the strength, purpose, and healing hidden behind them through personal stories that I'm sharing with you all. Faith-centered conversation, particularly healing tools and empowered interviews. Myself, Latricia Johnson, guides listeners through the journey of overcoming pain, reclaiming my voice, and becoming remarkable. Each episode explores a different layer of pain, from rejection and grief to betrayal, self-worth, forgiveness, and healing, providing encouragement, actable steps towards emotional, spiritual, and personal growth. So today's episode is entitled The Pain Nobody Sees. So the first one I want to talk about here on this podcast is understand hidden wounds. When I sat down and wrote this book about 5 years ago, I was really in a very dark place. And when I say my confidence levels was under the radar, it was not there, non-existent. I didn't have faith. I didn't have hope. I didn't know which way to go. I was just going through the motion. And what I mean is, everybody, I was going through the motion, just living life, just surviving, just being a mom, just being a wife, just doing what a wife and a mom do, being a stay-at-home mom. And those pains and wounds that affected me went on for years, everyone, and it really drained me to the point that I didn't know who I was and who I was becoming. So the thing about it is, I hid through those wounds by covering them up, protecting myself, doing what I need to do just to survive. And those wounds left so many different scars on me. But it also showed the things that I needed to work on. And way back when, I wasn't as strong as I was. I wasn't capable of handling certain situations. I was depressed 90% of the time. A lot of stuff that I dealt with, I didn't know how to handle it. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was depressed. I was miserable. And the thing about it is, I didn't find an outlet until years later with a group of amazing women that are located right here in the heart of Riviera Beach, Bridges at Riviera Beach. I didn't have a sense of purpose or guidance that would lead me to where I'm at today. So understanding those hidden wounds, I had low self-esteem. I had no confidence in myself. I didn't find myself beautiful. I didn't feel worthy, and I didn't feel appreciated back then. And why am I speaking about this today? Because somebody out here needs to hear this for themselves. And how did I overcome that? So if you sit here for the next few weeks and listen to each episode as I'm sharing in detail, as the book is beginning to start to unravel before your eyes, ladies and gentlemen, you will be like mesmerized how I did a complete 180. The next part I want to talk about, why people suffer in silence. I suffer in silence because I was a very introvert. I didn't speak about things. I didn't vocalize things. I kept stuff inside, and when it came out, it burst up in flames. It became a rocket ship that just flashed out. Anytime you say things to me, I was that yes girl, or I didn't want to let you down, or I was around inconsistent people and things, that and the third. And when I was suffering in silence, I didn't know how to have a voice for myself to speak about things that I was dealing with. I was brought up in a time where what stays in this house, what goes on in this house, stay in this house mentality. I had a fixed mindset. So I was stuck on that mentality, not wanting to step on toes or make anybody upset. And I suffered for a very long time. And when I began to vocalize it and begin to really start to really share myself, oh, I'm the villain, I'm this and I'm that and the third, because I got around women who saw my worth. They saw my pain. They saw my hurt. And why? Because they said things in me that I didn't experience. And it was beautiful to know that people who don't stay in your residential location of where you live at, can really speak life. And they spoke life to Remarkable. And they spoke life to me for this platform to be where it is today. Layers Pain had came in different stages. Again, I dealt with depression, uh, anxiety, suicide idols, you name it. All those things resonated in my spirit back then. Why? Because I didn't have confidence. I didn't love myself. I didn't feel pretty. All of these things that I talk about in this particular chapter is going to really shed some light on why things start to really branch out for me. Okay? The next part I want to talk about is recognize emotional pain. Back then, I didn't recognize emotional pain. It was eating too much or sleeping. That was my whole thing. Recognizing it, didn't recognize it, didn't know how to handle it, didn't know how to deal with it. See, many of you today may be going through some pain in your life and you don't know how to deal with it or know how to handle it. And for myself, these things that I'm sharing with you here today is going to really give you an understanding on where this is going. How many of you are dealing with pain mentally and spiritually and emotionally? I've been there, so I know what I'm talking about. I dealt with pain emotionally. I dealt with pain mentally and physically in my body, because I carried so much heaviness over me over the years that it really started to become full nature, to accept behavior that was toxic, to accept behavior that was over the top, to accept behavior that was completely obliterous. And why? Because I allowed it. I allowed it for years. I allowed people to walk over me. I allowed people to talk down to me. I allowed people to do all these things, that, and the third, because I didn't have the power to do it. People would thought like, oh, Trisha, you're good. You're fine. 9 times out of 10, I was not good. I was not fine. Any picture that you've seen on this platform, 9 times out of 10, I was sad and depressed and miserable and very unhappy. Okay. It was showing the picture. If you could see the pictures all going through my Facebook portfolio, you could see certain pictures in my albums that can tell I was depressed, or I was sad, I was afraid, I was angry. All these things that I was dealing with. And when I was dealing with it, it really captured my attention, because at first I never noticed myself looking so gloomy. I muzzled things down. I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't have a voice back then because it was muzzled out by the control of influencings of people who thought they could control the way I think, move, this and that and the third. But when I began to realize this is where I had to really navigate some things. And as you continue to listen to this podcast, you're going to see why I am remarkable. How did I overcome? How is this beneficiary? How did I heal from the trauma? How did I heal from the affliction? How did I let go of things that didn't really help me? What are some of the things that I dealt with that really caused me to really take a self reality check over myself? Understanding the hidden wounds. As I said early on, I didn't understand them. I coped with them. I just dealt with them. I weighed like almost 212 pounds because I was drinking soda. I was eating junk food, stuff that was so unhealthy. I wasn't eating a healthy meal. I wasn't living healthy. I wasn't being productive because I muzzled myself with food. I muzzled myself and comfort of people that were inconsistent. I was around things that didn't mean me any good. I was around people that wasn't really doing the right thing. They just so accustomed to me being that yes girl, or they can just walk over me like a doormat. And for years, people used to walk all over me like a doormat and acting like I didn't have no feelings because my voice was not heard. And why did I suffer in silence? Because the moment I speaked up, there was a problem. The moment I begin to change, I'm acting weird. Or the moment I begin to vocalize myself, why you can't be the old Latricia? Because the old Tricia then moved on. The old Latricia would have shut up, be quiet, and kept it all to herself. And it became a big bubble. It caused so much problems eternally. Like mentally, it'll mess me up. Made me feel very afraid to really speak up. And as you see, it starts to unravel like a piece of paper, and it just starts ripping and time and time and time, and just starts to really explode. And when it explodes, it really became a very nasty situation. What I'm saying is my temper went from 0 to 1,000 real quick because I reached that boiling point. Okay? My mouth was no filters at all whatsoever. I felt what I felt and said what I said because of hurt and being gaslighted and being justified about certain things that doesn't align is absolutely was obliterous. I said, because what I dealt with was unhealthy. What I felt wasn't pleasant. What I was experiencing wasn't normal. Because again, my confidence level was on an all-time low. And knowing these signs were not healthy, learning that I didn't care how my hair looked, I didn't care how I dressed, I didn't care what kind of shoes I had on, I didn't care about my appearance. And the reason being is because I didn't have that leeway to really do better for myself. I had people that came along the way to say, you need to do something with your hair. You need to do something with your outfit. You need to have your appearance. You need to be more productive in who you are as a mother and a wife and start taking care of yourself. Because again, I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care how I felt. I was just in that state of mind. And the pain that I dealt with family members and going through injuries, mama with breast cancer, kidney disease, daddy had diabetes, husband broke his foot, oldest daughter had diabetes. So there was a lot that was on me that I really muzzled out. And health wise, honestly, I wasn't taking care of myself. I ended up getting down sick about a few years later because I'm taking on everybody else's load and not really addressing my own. And that's where that pain lingers in. People could see it in my eyes. People could see it in my face. People say, you are too beautiful to be looking this sad and looking this pitiful. And that's when I had to make a decision where I need to really get myself together. And this is where you need to know more about Latricia Johnson, also known as Remarkable. That even through my darkest moment, God sent people into my life to bring light into my life, to have me to be more strong in faith, to have me to be more productive in what I'm doing, to reach my goals and aspiration and dreams. This took me almost 6 years to do this podcast and release this book. I've been sitting on this book for about 5 or 6 years because I was not ready to release it. I was not ready to experience. I wasn't ready to share. But now I'm in a place right now, the time is right now for people to know who I am. How did I get from point A to point B? Many of you have watched my videos for years and see me on social media and have seen the strength and the struggles and the sacrifices I have made. But now, live and living color, you get to read firsthand how this woman of God has came from one layer of pain to the next layer of pain that turned pain into purpose and turned the purpose into strength. And that strength is so phenomenal. So as you're in closing into this episode, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get more and more in depth of what layers of pain is about. Because at the end of the day, what I'm sharing with you all is going to benefit you, it's going to help you, it's going to mold you in a place that you've never ever experienced before. You're going to have a newfound being in life that even though I went through what I went through, I didn't let it break me. I didn't let it define me. I didn't let it justify me. I didn't let it stop me. I'm standing here today, a living testimony to share with you that you can overcome your pain. You can overcome whatever obstacles that you are facing in your life. And you're going to stand tall and look up one day and ask yourself, how did I get over? With God's help right by your side. So, ladies and gentlemen, take time and listen to this podcast and rewatch it as many times as you want to. This podcast will be available on my personal YouTube channel. Follow and like, subscribe. Latricia Johnson. It's called Layers of Pain YouTube channel. I took in my old YouTube channel and made it out to be specifically for this particular moment. You've been all waiting. You have seen a sneak peek of what you're about to experience each week about everything that I'm sharing with you all. And I hope that it bless you. I hope that it keeps you grounded. I hope that it gives you hope in the midst of whatever you're going through. And guess what? You're going to be just fine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to the Layers of Pain, episode 1, The Pain Nobody Sees. I pray that it bless you. I pray that it gives you hope. I pray that it gives you some type of clarity in your own life. And I'll see you back here on next Friday with episode 2 of Layers of Pain podcast. Be blessed, everybody. And what I used to say on a lot of my lives, be blessed, be empowered, be lifted.